All right, so continuing in Chapter 8, looking at floodplain morphology. And first, let's think about what a floodplain is. We know that floodplains are flat depositional surfaces adjacent to the modern channel that is formed with the current flow regime. And so let's look at what are the processes that form floodplains. Well, we have to have some sort of deposition, right, which is what we call accretion. And that accretion can occur on the edges of the channel, it can occur on braid bars, and it can occur vertically on the floodplain. So vertical accretion is just deposition on the flat surface of the floodplain, which makes the floodplain go up vertically. Or we can have a avulsion of the channel onto the floodplain. And destruction of the floodplain can occur from floodplain stripping, which is just erosion of the floodplain, or channel avulsion can also cause erosion. So what are the kinds of geomorphic units that we see on floodplains? We can have meander scroll bars, which are a result of our floodplain deposits. So with time, the river is moving across the floodplain, depositing on the point bar, and as it does so, it creates these deposits that form sort of kind of a scroll-like pattern. Here we go. So here's some good examples of scroll bars. And over here, right there, and on the inside of this meander, and there's some right there. So they form on the point bar side, and they're a result of the channel moving across the floodplain. We can also have cutoffs, which happens when a meander cuts off at the neck and leaves behind a meander river-shaped feature, and which, when it still has water in it, is called an oxbow lake. So here is an example of a neck cutoff that left behind an oxbow lake here, and here's another one. So it's from meander neck cutoff. A couple other features, floodouts. These occur in dry ephemeral channels. As the floodwaters move downstream, there are losses to the subsurface and losses to evaporation, and you can end up with deposits as a result of that. And then paleo channels are remnant channels in the floodplain. So you can see in this image here some paleo channels in the floodplain. Those are all features that we can find in floodplains. A few more. One are levees, and just be very careful. We're not talking about man-made levees here. These are natural levees. So what happens is as the water flows out of bank onto the floodplain, energy decreases and you get preferential deposition closer to the channel. And these typically are on more stable channels. When the levee fails, you can get a crevasse splay, which is going to carry sediment-laden water out onto the floodplain and cause deposition. And you can also then get deposition in what would be called a back swamp. So if you get water behind the levee from a levee failure or overtopping that levee, then the water gets stuck back there and you get deposition in those back swamp areas. So some images of natural levees. Here's the cross-section view, and you can see right along the channel here. And again, these are not man-made levees. And you recognize this image? It's on the cover of your textbook. And so all along these channels are natural levees and back swamps behind them. Great aerial view of a crevasse splay on the Columbia River up in British Columbia, Canada. So it looks almost like an alluvial fan. So the flow bursts through the levee and then spreads out across the floodplain, creating a big fan-shaped deposit.